Have you ever noticed how some days seem to conspire against you? The alarm doesn't go off, your coffee spills, traffic grinds to a halt, and it feels like the entire universe has decided to test you. But what if I told you it's not the universe that's against you, but rather you who is emitting the wrong frequency? Everything in the universe is energy. Every thought, every emotion, every word you utter, everything vibrates at a specific frequency. The secret is simple, yet so powerful it seems absurd. Change your energy and the entire universe will reorganize itself to reflect that. You are an energy transmitter, even if you don't realize it. Every second of your life, you are sending out a vibrational signal to the universe, and this signal is the language the universe understands perfectly. It's like a radio station. The universe never misses the tune. It returns precisely the frequency you transmit. When you vibrate with scarcity, it shows you more scarcity. When you vibrate with gratitude, it responds with more reasons to be thankful. And that's why so many live in seemingly endless cycles, not because they are destined for it, but because they haven't realized they carry within them the antenna that creates their own reality. Modern physics has made it clear. Everything is energy. Every thought, every emotion, every word carries a specific frequency. Researchers at MIT have proven that subatomic particles change their behavior depending on the observer's gaze. This means that the simple act of perceiving something already alters how matter manifests. If this happens at the microscopic level, imagine the impact of your mental state on the world you build every day. The way you think and feel literally alters the energetic field around you. I remember a day when everything seemed to fall apart. My alarm clock went off late, my car wouldn't start, and the month's most important meeting began without me. Inside, the old voice said, "It's always like this, nothing ever works out." But in that instant, I decided to do something different. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and shifted my focus. Instead of complaining, I gave thanks for the opportunity to practice patience. I put on some calm music, visualized a positive outcome, and thought, perhaps the universe is just preparing me for something better. The energy around me shifted immediately. When I finally arrived at the meeting, I noticed the client was receptive, curious, and open. I left there with the biggest contract of my career up to that point. And understand, it wasn't luck, it was alignment. We attract not what we want, but what we are on a vibrational level. If your thoughts are filled with worry, you cannot receive tranquility. If your emotion is fear, the universe cannot respond with courage. Every sensation, every feeling is a message sent to the quantum field, and that field merely echoes back what you emit. Therefore, complaining is not innocent. Every time you lament, you are reinforcing the vibrational pattern that keeps the same situations occurring. It's as if the universe is a grand energetic mirror. It doesn't judge, it doesn't distinguish between good or bad, it simply reflects. The question is, what are you showing this mirror? Do you wake up and think about debts, delays, problems, or do you start the day with a simple thought of gratitude for being alive? The difference between these two attitudes is colossal. A negative thought carries such dense vibrational weight that it can distort your field for hours, while a thought of gratitude is light and expansive, capable of completely changing the course of your day. You don't need a gigantic change to alter your energy. Sometimes a simple gesture is enough. Pause for a few seconds, close your eyes, and remember something good. It could be the hug from someone you love, the smell of morning coffee, the memory of an achievement. Allow that sensation to course through your body. Do you feel how your chest opens, how your breath becomes smoother? That's the moment your vibration begins to shift. And when that happens, the universe responds instantly. I've seen this in hundreds of people. Folks who thought nothing would ever work out, and who kept repeating, I can't do it, I don't deserve it. Yet it only took them to start shifting their focus, to adjust their feelings, for previously closed doors to open. Opportunities that seemed impossible appeared out of nowhere. But nothing comes from nothing. Everything comes from energy. Have you ever wondered why, when you're happy, people seem to treat you better, traffic feels lighter, and things just flow? This is no coincidence. Your energetic field becomes an invitation for the universe to conspire in your favor. On the other hand, when you're annoyed, frustrated, rushed, Small things turn into obstacles. Your coffee spills, the light turns red, someone responds rudely, and you mentally confirm, "I knew this day would be awful." And the universe, obedient, says, "As you wish." Therefore, the first step to changing your life isn't to change your job, your relationship, or your address. It's to change your vibration. Everything you desire already exists. It's just on a frequency you aren't yet emitting. It's like trying to tune into a song on the wrong station. The melody is there, but the static prevents you from hearing it. The work is to adjust your internal dial until the sound becomes clear. So ask yourself, what am I transmitting right now? If your mind is full of worries, shift your focus. If your body is tense, breathe. If your emotions are heavy, find something, anything, that inspires joy. Make this a habit. Because when you master control of your energy, the universe bows before it. It has no choice. It merely responds. Life is a mirror that reflects with surgical precision the energy you emit. Nothing that happens is truly against you. Everything is a vibrational response to what exists within you. It's curious, because many people believe they are victims of circumstances, when in fact they are co-creators of everything they experience. Every thought is a seed, and every emotion is the soil where it germinates. If your mind cultivates fear, doubt, or resentment, do not expect to harvest serenity, abundance, or love. The universe does not work with words, it works with frequencies, and your emotion is the most powerful frequency that exists. Have you ever noticed how your mood can completely transform your day? Waking up annoyed is like tuning the dial to a static station. Everything that happens afterward seems to confirm what you feel. Traffic gets worse, people seem ruder, unexpected problems multiply. But on a day when you wake up in peace, suddenly the same traffic seems faster. People smile at you. The universe seems to cooperate. It's the same world, the same city, the same conditions. Only the frequency of your energy has changed. This isn't just philosophy. Science has already confirmed what ancient masters knew for millennia. Research from MIT has shown that subatomic particles behave differently depending on the observer. This means your attention shapes the behavior of matter itself. If, at the most fundamental level of reality, energy responds to your consciousness, why would it be any different in everyday life? Every emotion you have is a vibration that communicates to the universe what you are ready to receive. Think of a real mirror. It never lies. It doesn't choose what to reflect. If you smile, it smiles back. If you frown, it returns the same expression. Life does exactly this, only with your vibration. When you vibrate with scarcity, the universe shows you more reasons to feel lacking. When you vibrate with gratitude, it multiplies the reasons to be thankful. It is a law as precise as gravity, and gravity does not fail. I remember a time when I lived frustrated, stuck in the mindset that the world was unfair. I looked at those who were successful and wondered, why them and not me? Every time I did that, I reinforced the feeling of lack. And the universe, obedient, kept showing me more situations of scarcity. The turning point came when I understood that it wasn't the world denying me anything. It was I who was blocking the flow of abundance by vibrating resentment and envy. The moment I started to admire instead of envy, something changed. My eyes opened to new possibilities, and opportunities I hadn't even noticed before began to emerge. The energy you project becomes the filter through which you see life. If your focus is the problem expands. If your focus is the solution reveals itself. How many times have you noticed that by focusing too much on what went wrong, you can't see what could still go right? This happens because the human brain is programmed to validate what it believes. When you think, nothing works for me, your neurological system searches for evidence to support that belief. But if you change your thought to, there's always a way out, the same brain starts looking for paths and opportunities. The mirror of life reflects what you believe to be true. I've seen this principle work countless times, both in myself and in the people I've worked with. There was a woman who came to me saying the universe was against her. She lost her job, her relationship ended, and even her car broke down in the same week. When we analyzed her emotional routine, we noticed that every day she woke up saying, Today is going to be another difficult day. And the universe, faithful to the frequency, said, as you wish. We changed just one thing, her first thought of the morning. Instead of lamenting, she began to say, today the universe is opening paths for me. In less than 3 weeks, a new job opportunity arose, and she started a relationship she described as the lightest of her life. Vibration is the invisible foundation of all visible reality. Everything begins in the emotional field before becoming physical. If you want to change your results, you must change your reflection, and that only happens when you change what stands before the mirror. Nothing outside transforms if the inside remains the same. True transformation isn't resisting circumstances, it's choosing the vibration with which you react to them. Life will continue to test you until you learn to respond differently. As long as you react with anger, the universe will keep giving you reasons to be irritated. When you respond with calm, the situations that once threw you off balance begin to dissolve. And the most fascinating thing is that you don't need to force anything. Energy is self-sufficient. When you change your frequency, the universe reorganizes everything around you: people, events, coincidences, opportunities. Think of a radio station. You don't need to shout to change the song, you just turn the dial and tune into another frequency. It's the same with life. You don't need to fight against reality, you just need to change your tune. And that tune is determined by the quality of your thoughts and feelings. When you understand this, the power returns to your hands. You stop being a victim and become a creator. There are no more bad days. There are only days when your vibration is misaligned. The mirror isn't your enemy. It merely reflects what you show. So, if you wish to see beauty, peace, and prosperity reflected back, start projecting them from within. Because life doesn't respond to what you ask with words, but rather to what you are in vibration. Everything in life begins with a decision. Not just any decision, but the one that comes from within, from the part of you that knows exactly what it wants, even when the rational mind still doubts. Most people spend their lives waiting to feel ready to act. They believe they need more time, more knowledge, more security. But the truth is that security only appears after the decision, never before. It is the energy of choice that sets the universe in motion. When you truly decide, the world around you begins to reorganize to align with your new frequency. I vividly remember the time when I was still working at the Toronto Fire Department. I had a stable routine, a fixed salary, but inside me there was a restlessness, a silent voice saying there was something greater waiting for me. The problem was I didn't know what or how to start. And it was during that period that a man named Raymond Douglas Stanford placed a book in my hands, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I read those pages with skepticism, but something in it resonated deeply with me. It was as if someone had turned on a light in a room I didn't even know was dark. At that time, I had no formal education, no contacts, no resources, but I made a decision. I would not spend the rest of my life merely reacting to what happened. I would create. It was that simple decision that changed the course of everything. I left my job with no guarantees and started a small cleaning business. I had no idea how to run a company, but I was driven by a different energy, the energy of inner certainty. And in less than 1 year, that business earned me more than $100,000, not because I became a business genius, but because something inside me changed. A true decision is vibrational. It's not just about saying I want, but about feeling in your body that it is already a reality. It's when you stop fighting fear and choose to act even while trembling. Most people don't understand this. They say, I will try, but trying is a lukewarm, undefined vibration that doesn't create movement. The universe responds only to what is clear, decided, committed. Have you ever noticed that when you decide something with conviction, everything starts to happen almost magically? The right people appear, ideas emerge, improbable coincidences align. This is not chance, it is resonance. Your new vibration attracts elements compatible with it. When you are indecisive, the universe remains silent. It doesn't know which frequency to respond to. But when there is clarity, it moves. I remember a specific episode when my company was still just starting out. There was an important contract at stake, and everything indicated that I wouldn't be able to fulfill it. My mind said, "It's impossible," but my heart said, "Trust." So I sat down, closed my eyes, and visualized the result as if it had already happened. I felt the emotion of achievement before it materialized, and on the next day, a phone call changed everything. The client, who had previously been indecisive, not only closed the contract but also referred me to other partners. It was at that moment that I understood that a decision isn't just a mental action, it's an energetic command sent to the universe. You might think it's a coincidence, but science explains this differently. The human brain, when it makes a decision with emotion, releases coherent waves that reorganize the nervous system and activate areas linked to perception and creativity. That's why, when you truly commit to something, you seem to see solutions that were previously invisible. Your focus changes, and your vibrational field expands. The energy of decision also destroys fear. Fear is the hesitation between two realities, the one you have and the one you desire. When you decide, fear loses its space because there is no longer doubt. The universe doesn't support the indecisive, it supports the decided. And not deciding is already a decision, just one in favor of stagnation. People often say they are waiting for the right moment, but the right moment doesn't exist, it is created. It is the vibration of choice that makes it appear. I had no logical reason to believe that a firefighter without a degree could become a millionaire and international speaker. But I chose to believe, and the universe, as always, merely responded. Do you want to know the secret that separates those who live dreaming from those who achieve? It's simple. The former wait to feel confident before acting. The latter act until confidence appears. Inspired action creates the feeling, not the other way around. It's like diving into cold water. The body resists until the moment you enter, and then you realize it's bearable. If you keep waiting for all the answers before taking the first step, you will wait your entire life. Clarity comes on the path. Energy manifests when you move. The universe doesn't guide those who stand still. It guides those who allow themselves to walk. Every decision is a vote of confidence in yourself and in the infinite intelligence that governs all things. When you align with that force, you don't need to know how everything will happen. You just need to know that it will. The how is the universe's task. The when depends on your faith. So, think about this. What have you postponed deciding out of fear of making a mistake? How many opportunities have failed to materialize because you waited for an external sign when the true sign was within you all along? Energy follows intention, and when the intention is firm, the universe bows to your determination. Decision is the point where the invisible begins to take shape. When you choose with your heart, the impossible bends. Because life isn't about having guarantees, it's about having courage. And every time you dare to choose what inspires you, the entire universe conspires to prove you right. Money is energy, and like all energy, it moves in the direction of what is in harmony with its frequency. It has no morals, no judgment, and does not obey merit. It simply responds to the vibration you emit. That's why some people seem to attract it with ease, while others spend their entire lives chasing it without ever reaching it. The difference between the two is not in luck or talent, but in inner vibration. Money flows to those who love it and moves away from those who fear it. For years I observed this in people and in myself. I grew up believing that money was dirty, that one had to work hard, sacrifice health and time to deserve it. This belief created an invisible blockage, an energetic barrier between me and abundance. It was only when I understood that money wasn't the problem, but my emotional relationship with it, that everything changed. When I began to treat it as an ally, a natural flow of life, it started to circulate with ease. There's a fascinating study from Princeton University that shows money only has a real impact on happiness, up to about $75,000 per year. After that point, it stops buying joy and instead reveals the emotional state of its owner. In other words, money doesn't transform you. It amplifies who you already are. If within you there is scarcity, fear, and insecurity, more money will only amplify those vibrations. But if within you there is gratitude, confidence, and purpose, it will become an instrument of expansion. I saw this happen firsthand with a man who became my client years ago. He was intelligent, hard-working, but lived in debt. He complained about everything: taxes, the cost of living, rich people. He used to say money is for the few. This phrase, repeated every day, shaped his reality. When we worked together, we didn't talk about finances, we talked about energy. I shifted his attention from "I don't have" to "money flows to me with ease." He found it strange at first, but he trusted. 3 months later, he received an unexpected promotion. An old client paid off a forgotten debt, and a new opportunity arose. Nothing changed in the external world, only within him. The universe is a perfect vibrational field, and money is one of the most tangible forms of energy circulating within it. It doesn't like to be imprisoned, because stagnant energy stagnates. The people who prosper most are not those who accumulate, but those who allow the flow. They understand that giving and receiving are movements of the same dance. When you give with gratitude, whether it's time, knowledge, or resources, you create space for more to flow your way. Energy needs movement, and the fear of loss is what blocks the flow of abundance. There's a pivotal moment in my life I've never forgotten. I was just starting out, and even though I didn't have much, I decided to help a family struggling financially. That day, I gave virtually everything I had. It was irrational, but it felt right. 2 weeks later, an opportunity appeared out of nowhere, a contract that multiplied that amount many times over. That taught me something I carry to this day. The universe rewards trust. When you act with faith in abundance, you prove to the universe that you believe in it. But there's a detail many ignore. Money doesn't respond to greed. It responds to gratitude. Whenever you say, "I hate paying bills," you're emitting rejection. You're energetically saying, "I don't want this energy to circulate." And like everything in nature, money goes where it isn't welcome. I transformed this habit. Today, every time I pay a bill, I tell myself, I am grateful to have received enough to pay for this. This simple shift creates a cycle of prosperity because it transforms the act of spending into an act of recognition. The same goes for the words you use. How many times have you said, "I can't afford that," or "That's too expensive for me"? Each of these phrases is a vibrational declaration of limitation. The universe doesn't argue, it simply confirms, "As you wish." Language is energy in the form of sound, and sound is vibration. When you change your words, you change your frequency. And when you change your frequency, money starts to notice you. Remember, money is a consequence, not a cause. It's the natural outcome of a mind in harmony with abundance. People who are constantly chasing it are vibrating from a place of lack, because the very act of seeking carries the message, "I don't have." But when you become someone who vibrates prosperity, money comes to you. It's like a magnetic field that attracts opportunities, connections, and solutions. I learned this lesson the hard way, but definitively. Once, a mentor asked me, "Do you want to be right or do you want to get results?" I realized that for years I'd been defending my limiting beliefs about money, and they were keeping me stuck. The moment I abandoned them, something opened up inside me. I started to see opportunities that had always been there, but I hadn't had the eyes to see them. Money isn't a destination, it's a mirror of your consciousness. It honestly shows how you relate to the flow of life, and life rewards those who flow. So the next time you handle a bill or look at your bank balance, pause for a moment and feel gratitude. Recognize that that value is a form of living energy, constantly in motion, and that the more you bless it, the more it returns. Abundance isn't about how much you possess, but about who you are. The universe doesn't respond to desire, it responds to vibration. And when you become someone who radiates confidence, gratitude, and generosity, money has no choice. It simply finds its way back to you. Your space speaks for you before you even open your mouth. I learned this firsthand. A cluttered environment doesn't just distract. It erodes decisions, drains creativity, and diminishes your ability to perceive opportunities. This isn't moralizing about tidiness, it's physics applied to your life. Every object, every color, every sound in your visual field sends messages to your subconscious and consequently to the energetic field you project into the world. A flickering light, a monitor cluttered with windows, a stack of papers staring at you, all of this acts as noise, and noise reduces your signal. Have you ever felt that heaviness when you walk into a disorganized room? It's not just an impression, it's your biology reacting. When I entered other people's offices and felt that pressure in my chest, I realized it wasn't just about aesthetics. Once I was hired by an entrepreneur whose product was excellent, but the results weren't coming. I walked into the office and felt a dense pressure. Flickering fluorescent lights, piles of paper, uncomfortable chairs, a continuous stream of complaints from the hallway. It wasn't just a leadership problem, it was an entire field that sabotaged decisions. We made simple changes. The desk was realigned to face the window, clutter was eliminated, a plant was placed in the corner, warm lights replaced the cold ones. In 3 weeks, decision-making improved dramatically and productivity increased by 70%. This isn't magic, it's practical science. Studies show what was already obvious to those who work with people. Environments with plants improve attention and reduce fatigue. Natural light regulates circadian rhythms and improves mood. Colors have a direct impact on cognitive function. Blue stimulates creativity, green calms, red enhances attention to detail, and small changes produce disproportionate results. You don't need to redecorate your entire home, you need intention. If you want to transform your daily life, here's the step-by-step process I use and teach. Practical, immediate, and tested by hundreds of clients. Do a 60-second visual scan. Sit in your chair, look around, and mentally note 2 things that energize you and 2 that drain you. Don't overthink it, your body already knows. Eliminate the most obvious noise, throw away, digitize, or file papers that don't require immediate action. Visual clutter is a petri dish for procrastination. Adjust the lighting. If possible, move your desk closer to a window. If not, replace cold bulbs with a warmer, softer tone in your direct field of vision. Add life. A simple plant in the corner improves air quality and sends a message to your brain. Attention, there's vitality here. Don't underestimate the symbolic effect. Define an entry ritual. Before you start working, turn your chair. Breathe 3 times. Write your main intention for the day on a note and stick it in front of you. This small ritual changes your body's chemistry. Control your digital sensory load. Close unnecessary tabs, use an instrumental playlist for focus, and keep notifications silent during concentrated work blocks. Reinforce energy circulation. Open windows for 10 minutes upon waking, move, stretch, and let the air circulate. Physical stagnation generates mental stagnation. These steps aren't mystical practices, they are interactions between environment, body, and mind that create coherence. When the field around you becomes coherent, your decisions become sharper and your emotions more stable. Think about it. How many times have you let a good idea die due to a lack of clarity in your environment? How many negotiations were lost because the room signaled chaos and lack of care? I want to tell you about a tiny adjustment that created an enormous change. I removed all images from my office walls for 1 week, just white and visual silence. At first I felt strange. Then I noticed my reasoning became sharper. Words came with greater precision. When I reintroduced only what truly inspired me, a photo of a significant moment, a short phrase, I felt that each item began to function as fuel instead of noise. The feeling was one of profound relief, almost like taking off a wet coat. This lightness is important. It's when you allow yourself to think big. And now, a 7-day protocol to experience and prove for yourself. Day 1, a 60-second scan and elimination of 1 pile. Day 2, light adjustment and a small plant. Day 3, daily entry ritual. Day 4, reorganize your workspace so your main view is something that inspires you. Day 5, try working for 90 minutes without interruptions. Day 6, evaluate which conversations and sounds around you drain you and minimize them. Day 7, write down 3 differences you noticed in clarity, mood, and opportunities. Do this mini experiment and observe. Common objections are predictable. I don't have time, I don't have space, or I can't renovate now. These are energetic excuses that keep the disorder in place. Time isn't spent on a fine-tooth comb. Trade 10 minutes of your morning for a quick scan. Space isn't a luxury. Reorganizing a desk is an emanation of intention, not a renovation. And if you live with other people, negotiate microzones. 20 minutes a day for your corner. Small concessions create big gains. Another resistance I hear is, "This is just organizing. It won't bring me clients." Wrong. The environment acts as an attention filter. When your clarity increases, you perceive connections, see solutions, and your language changes. And language attracts people. Clients don't come just through marketing. They come because they sense coherence in who you are. An aligned space transmits competence, calm, and confidence, all things the market pays handsomely for. Finally, remember, the environment is an intention multiplier. You might have the best strategy in the world, but if your space says chaos, your words lose weight. Change your space and then observe how the conversations around you change, the quality of your decisions, and the speed at which opportunities arise. Start today with something minimal, an adjusted chair, one less paper on the desk, and allow the frequency shift to start working for you. When your surroundings start to support your vibration, the universe no longer needs to guess what you want. It simply responds. The energy of the people around you shapes your life in ways you might not even realize. You might wake up feeling great, full of energy, and just 10 minutes next to someone negative is enough to make your body feel heavy, your clarity diminish, and your vibration drop. This isn't a coincidence, it's science. Harvard research has shown that the simple act of being near someone stressed alters your brain chemistry in minutes. Your brain waves adjust, your hormones align with the emotional state of others. It's as if your entire system tries to mirror the environment. And this explains why some relationships drain and others strengthen. For years, I didn't realize how much my energy was drained by people who thrived on complaining. They didn't mean any harm, but they lived in a low vibrational state. And by spending time with them, I ended up vibrating at the same frequency. I recall a period when, even with all my projects going well, I felt tired, irritable, and unproductive. Until I realized that the exhaustion wasn't coming from work. It was coming from interaction. I would spend hours in meetings with people who only talked about problems, and when I left, it felt as though something had siphoned away my vitality. It was then that I learned a powerful lesson. Protecting your own energy isn't selfishness, it's wisdom. Energy is the most valuable asset you possess, and it determines everything. Your thoughts, decisions, opportunities, and even your health. When you surround yourself with negative people, you begin to absorb their frequency, even unintentionally. The human brain possesses what scientists call mirror neurons, which unconsciously make us imitate the behavior and emotional state of those nearby. That's why when someone yawns, you yawn too. But this also applies to denser emotions. When someone complains constantly, you start to think and feel similarly. Over time, I realized that I didn't need to cut anyone out of my life abruptly, but I did need to set boundaries. I started to reduce the time spent with people who complained constantly, and when I had to be with them, I would prepare myself energetically beforehand. I'd close my eyes, breathe deeply, and imagine a white light around my body, like a protective barrier. It might seem symbolic, but the truth is that any ritual that directs your intention changes your biology. Studies on the placebo effect show that the simple act of believing you are protected alters brain function and reduces stress levels. And here's something important. The energy you tolerate is the energy you perpetuate. If you keep listening to the same lamentations every day, you are reinforcing that vibrational field. It's like tuning into a radio station that only plays static and then wondering why you don't hear music. When you elevate your frequency, you naturally start to distance yourself from people and environments that no longer match your new energetic level. Not because you've become better, but because you vibrate differently. I remember a friend whom I valued greatly, but who lived in a cycle of pessimism. All conversations ended with phrases like, "Things never work out for me," or "Life is just hard." At first, I tried to help him, but I always left drained. Until one day I decided to impose a silent limit. I reduced our conversations to 20 minutes weekly, and when we were together, I consciously redirected the focus to positive topics. Gradually, I noticed that he started to change his tone, and at the same time I began to feel lighter. I learned that you don't need to distance yourself from everyone, but you do need to lead the vibration of the environment instead of being dominated by it. This applies to work, friendships, and even family. There are people you cannot avoid, but you can control how much they influence you. Before a tense meeting, I usually align myself mentally by saying, I choose to maintain my peace regardless of what happens. This simple phrase changes the entire dynamic. It's a reminder that your energy is your responsibility. And there's a point many ignore. Sometimes the toxic person is you. When you live complaining, criticizing, doubting, you are the one who becomes the noise in others' vibrational field. Negative energy doesn't originate from outside. It's fed from within. The first step to raising your vibration is to take full responsibility for the frequency you are emitting. I remember one client who said she couldn't maintain lasting friendships because no one was any good. When we analyzed it, I realized she spent entire encounters talking about problems and pains. She didn't realize she was draining the energy of everyone around her. When she worked on her vibration and started talking about solutions, dreams, and gratitude, the right people began to appear. This is what I call the law of resonance. Like attracts like. There's a phrase I always repeat. You are the energetic average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is not a metaphor. It's literal. Research from universities like Harvard and Brown shows that emotions and behaviors spread through human social networks up to 3 degrees of separation. That is to say, the mood of a friend of your friend can affect yours. Happiness and success are contagious, just like pessimism and fear. So do a simple test. Write down the names of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and next to each one, describe how you feel after spending time with them. Energized or exhausted? Inspired or irritated? Joyful or tense? If more than 2 of those people drain you, it's time to reevaluate your circle. You cannot fly like an eagle if you keep walking with chickens. And if these words are making sense to you so far, if in some way you are realizing how everything is energy, click like and subscribe to the channel right now. This isn't just a symbolic gesture. It's a vibrational declaration. When you connect with content that elevates your frequency, you are telling the universe, I want to keep growing. And the universe always responds to that intention. Remember, your human environment is the thermometer of your evolution. Choosing with whom to share your time is choosing who helps shape your future. When you surround yourself with people who vibrate faith, purpose, and enthusiasm, your own vibration automatically rises. You start to think bigger, act with more confidence, and perceive opportunities that previously went unnoticed. Because the truth is simple. The universe doesn't send you what you ask for. It sends you what matches your energy. And the energy of the people around you is a mirror of what you believe you deserve. Fear is a skilled artist. It paints pictures so real in our minds that we begin to believe we are about to fall, even before we take the first step. Criticism then enters like an echo, reinforcing everything. What if you fail? What if no one believes in you? What if you lose everything? It's interesting how the human mind works, isn't it? It always projects the worst-case scenario, even before considering the possibility of the best. And often you wake up already with this voice in the background. Today isn't going to work out. What if I mess everything up? And without realizing it, you start the day already vibrating at the frequency of defense, not expansion. The truth is that as long as you try to avoid judgment, you will continue to hide from your own results. Because success, growth, and evolution require an almost childlike willingness to make mistakes publicly. Get up, adjust, and walk again. I have been a target of criticism, laughter, and distrust. There was once a time when I got on stage and my hands trembled so much that I almost dropped my notes. I had heard comments hours earlier saying that I wasn't prepared, that I wasn't material to inspire anyone. And as I looked at the audience, I could feel that old fear raising its head, trying to remind me of who I had been, a boy without a degree, without direction, who quit jobs and wandered lost. But something inside me decided that on that day, I would not be an extension of the past. I didn't fight the fear. I acknowledged it. And even with my heart pounding, I spoke. At first, my voice came out shaky, but I continued. And at the end of that event, one person came up to me with tears in their eyes, saying that my message had changed their life. It's funny. Sometimes someone is waiting for your courage to find their own. When fear strikes, and it will strike, stop and ask yourself, is this a true warning or an old story trying to stay alive? Take an internal inventory. Breathe deeply. Feel the air slowly entering and imagine your spine aligning, your feet rooting into the ground. Place one hand over your chest and silently say, I allow myself to move forward despite this. Don't fight fear. Lead it. Because when you try to suppress it, it grows. When you guide it, it diminishes. People you admire aren't fearless. They've simply learned to act, even while trembling. And always ask, what truly scares me here? Is it financial loss? Is it disapproval? Is it the feeling of not being enough? Most people don't fear failure. They fear being seen failing. And that's exactly why they keep circling in the same life, the same salary, the same patterns, year after year. They wait for emotional security to act, when the truth is that security is what comes after action, never before. I like to do an exercise when I feel myself entering that internal space of doubt. I close my eyes and visualize two doors. The first, the door of fear, always seems familiar, predictable, and safe, but behind it are the same floor, the same old walls. The second door, the door of courage, is sometimes dark, without guarantees, without a red carpet. But every time I chose that door, I found opportunities, people, possibilities, encounters I never would have discovered if I had hidden. And do you know the most curious thing? Many of these achievements were just one decision beyond fear. When you are facing a scary step, make this micro-commitment to yourself. I will only act for the next 10 seconds. 10 seconds. That's all you need to send a message, raise your hand in a meeting, say, I'm in, ask for a meeting, record that video, take the first step. Courage doesn't demand a lifetime, it demands a moment, and moments change destinies. Here's a powerful rule. Speak less of your fears and act more on them. When you give too many words to fear, it becomes a character. When you move your body despite it, it turns to dust. If you feel butterflies in your stomach, great, it means you're touching a boundary. And expansion only happens at the edge. Don't seek the absence of fear. Seek the ability to advance with it beside you, like a shadow that doesn't control your direction. Today, when someone criticizes me, I observe. Sometimes I laugh. Sometimes I give thanks. Because every time someone doubts you, the universe is asking, who do you choose to be now, defined by their opinion or the expression of the vision you carry? And when you respond through action, not defense, you send a clear signal to the universe, I am ready for what is mine. So if there's an idea, a project, a conversation you're avoiding for fear of looking ridiculous, inadequate, or too bold, that's exactly the path. You don't want a small, comfortable life. You want a life that makes your heart vibrate, your soul work, your spirit grow, and that demands a stance, to value what you wish to create more than what you fear losing. Breathe. Feel. Trust. You're not here to please. You're here to expand. And every time you choose to listen more to potential than to fear, you become unstoppable. Gratitude isn't a pretty gesture. It's not a spiritual protocol. It's not just saying thank you as lip service. Gratitude is a vibrational state. It's a frequency. And when you truly access it, your reality has no choice but to respond. You see, when you complain, even in thought, you're telling the universe, I lack, there is scarcity, a problem. And the universe, obedient, returns more of that. Now, when you express gratitude, genuinely with feeling, you are declaring, I have, I receive, I am capable. And then, invisible doors begin to open. Most people want abundance, but vibrate scarcity. They want to prosper, but waste the day's small miracles. They look at their bank account and see only numbers, when they could see energy in motion, flow, life. I remember a time when bills seemed to weigh tons. It wasn't the amount, it was the feeling. Every time a bill arrived, I felt my chest tighten, my energy drop. Until the day I decided to do things differently. Upon receiving a bill, I would quietly, almost in a whisper, say, thank you. This proves I have light, water, structure, possibilities. At first it felt strange, almost sarcastic, because the mind is trained to resist the new, but I kept going. And something extraordinary happened. That heavy feeling was replaced by relief. I began to pay with more clarity, more lightness, and curiously, almost like magic, I also started to receive more. Not because the bill changed, but because my energy changed. The vibration of gratitude sheds the armor of financial fear. Many people live saying, "When I have more, then I will be grateful." And that's the misconception that traps so many. No one grows spiritually or materially by waiting for the perfect scenario. You don't give thanks when everything arrives. Everything arrives because you give thanks. Try this simple test. Every morning, before even stepping out of bed, think of 3 things for which you are grateful. It could be having a home, the smell of coffee, someone who loves you, or even the mistakes that taught you something. 3. Science has already measured this. People who practice this habit have more emotional stability, better performance, and make smarter financial decisions. It's not a coincidence, it's frequency. Now, amplify the practice. Throughout the day, find tiny opportunities to give thanks. Did someone hold a door? Mentally thank them. Did your food arrive? Take a breath before your first bite and give thanks. Did you park faster than you expected? Give thanks. These are small acknowledgements that build a great flow. Repetition creates rhythm, and the universe responds to rhythm, not lazy intention. You see, constant gratitude trains the brain to see what works, and when you see what works, you naturally create more of what works. It's neuroscience and spirituality dancing together. There's also a form of gratitude few practice, giving thanks in advance. You don't give thanks because you have it. You give thanks because it's already yours in the energetic field. If you desire a new job, give thanks as if you already have it. If you want to close a deal, give thanks before the meeting. If you seek peace in relationships, give thanks for harmony as if you already live within it. This isn't delusion, it's vibrational alignment. Your identity needs to experience it internally before it manifests externally. And I can guarantee you, every achievement begins in emotion, not in outcome. And there's an even deeper layer, gratitude for pain. This is advanced. But think, how many of your greatest evolutions were born from difficult moments? Who would you be without the failures, without the sleepless nights, without the losses that taught you to value what matters? Life doesn't err in the size of the experiences it gives you. Gratitude for the bitterest lessons generates vibrational maturity, and vibrational maturity attracts abundance with structure, with order, with continuity. I want to give you a 7-day challenge. During this period, every time you touch money, whether it's a bill, a card, a coin, or even your phone screen opening a banking app, pause for 3 seconds and mentally say, "Thank you, I attract more." 3 seconds, that's all. You'll begin to feel a change in your body. Your breath loosens, your chest opens, your mind clears, and soon you'll notice another curious thing. Opportunities, both small and large, emerging from unexpected places. An idea, a client who reappears, an invitation, a solution that once seemed distant. This practice shifts your financial vibration because it clears resentment, clears anxiety, clears scarcity. The truth is that gratitude is a bridge between who you are today and who you are becoming. And the moment you understand this, the game stops being about achieving to then give thanks, and starts being about giving thanks to then receive. Life responds to what you vibrate, not to what you verbally ask for. And when the vibration is gratitude, the universe doesn't return crumbs. It returns structured, aligned, lasting abundance. It's not luck. It's frequency. It's consistency. And it begins the instant you decide to recognize the riches that already exist around you. Now, your environment is a kind of silent mirror. It returns to you exactly what you put into it, and often it's shaping your life without you even realizing it. How many times have you woken up determined with clear plans, only to cross paths with someone complaining, turn on the television to see negative news, or enter work and hear sighs, criticisms, and phrases like "nothing ever works," causing your energy to plummet? Suddenly, what was focused turns into doubt, enthusiasm turns into fatigue, clarity turns into irritation. It wasn't bad luck. It was vibrational contagion. Your environment sucked your frequency dry. And the most fascinating and terrifying thing is that most of the time this happens without noise, without warning, without an emotional alarm. You simply adjust downward, like someone unconsciously turning down the volume on their own soul. I experienced this early in my journey. When I started wanting more from life, still surrounded by people accustomed to less, I felt as if every day I had to swim against a current. I remember entering places where the air felt heavy, as if stagnant thoughts permeated the walls. And that's exactly what was happening. People arguing, complaining about the government, the boss, the weather, their fate. And when I left my heart too open, without internal protection, I left feeling smaller than when I entered. It was during this period that I learned one of the hardest lessons of my life. You don't change your reality by keeping the same conversations, frequenting the same places, feeding on the same energies. You can have good intentions, you can have big goals, you can even visualize the future strongly. But if your environment doesn't sustain your dreams, it will swallow them. And here's an important point. It's not about abandoning people or becoming cold. It's about choosing who has access to your vibration. There's an enormous difference between loving someone and allowing that person to dictate your emotional state. I had close, dear people whose inner world was made of complaints, fear, and pessimism. Initially, I tried to rescue them, to be a light in that scenario. But I realized that to lift others, you first need to be firm in a vibration that doesn't yield. Otherwise, you don't pull anyone up. You just sink with them. So I started limiting my time, adjusting the tone of conversations, choosing my circles more carefully. When necessary, I even walked alone. And it was curious. The moment my energy rose, new people appeared, as if the universe had just been waiting for me to make space. Take a moment to reflect now. Observe the 5 people you spend the most time with. Don't judge them. Just notice how you feel when you're around them. Do you leave energized or drained? With ideas or with fatigue? Believing more in yourself or with doubts that weren't even yours? Because without realizing it, we repeat expressions, adopt fears, absorb beliefs, and even mirror the body language of our environment. The body doesn't lie. When you're in a place aligned with your expansion, you breathe better, your shoulders relax, you feel lightness in your abdomen, ideas spontaneously emerge. When you're in a misaligned environment, you feel tension in your neck, your breathing shortens, your brows furrow. Your body is the first to warn you when something doesn't match your future, and if you say, "I have no choice, my job, my home, my relationships are just the way they are," I tell you, you always have a choice about what you internalize. Start by organizing your physical space. A clean, well-lit and tidy environment shifts your vibration. Choose uplifting music, reduce toxic conversations, and protect your mornings from negative news. Imagine you have an inner door, and you decide who gets in. A powerful practice is to create micro-rituals. Before meeting someone difficult, take a deep breath, visualize a light surrounding your body, and mentally say, "I remain in my energy." It sounds simple, almost childish, but it works because it trains your mind not to merge with others' vibrations. There's also the inverse movement. You start to be the emitter. One day I walked into a room where the atmosphere was heavy, strained faces, tense gazes, that feeling that everything was about to go wrong. Instead of adapting to the mood, I breathed, smiled, greeted everyone with sincere enthusiasm and said, "Today is a good day for us to solve something important together." The atmosphere shifted, not because I spoke beautifully, but because I vibrated something different. It's not about controlling people, it's about tuning the environment to you before you allow it to tune you. People perceive energy before they perceive words. So ask yourself, is the environment around me feeding my future or holding me to my past? Start with the small choices. The desk where you work, the content you consume, the voices you listen to most often. With each adjustment, you send the universe a signal, "I am ready for the greater version of myself." And when you do that, life responds. It always responds. Because vibration isn't a detail, it is the field where your reality takes shape. And when you decide to align your internal and external environment with who you are becoming, opportunities appear as if they were always there, just waiting for you to vibrate high enough to see them. There is a moment, almost imperceptible, when most people give up. It's not when resources run out, nor when real obstacles appear. They give up when the mind starts to whisper, "It's taking too long, maybe it's not for you. Who do you think you are?" And it is precisely then, in that exact 1 millimeter between continuing and stopping, that the universe observes your stance and decides if you are ready for what you've asked for. Many believe that transforming life is like flipping a switch, but true change looks much more like building a campfire on a cold night. You start with sparks, blow patiently, protect that fragile flame from the wind, and little by little the warmth grows. If you abandon it before the embers glow, you will never see the light it could generate. I've seen so many talented people give up too early because they confused delay with failure. They planted, they watered, but upon not seeing fruit in the expected time, they abandoned the garden. And something curious I've learned is that often the result doesn't appear when you want it to, but rather when you've grown enough to sustain it. Life doesn't deliver big opportunities to a fragile emotional structure. It first strengthens you. And often, this strengthening comes in the form of silence, in the form of tests, in the form of days, when you do everything right and nothing seems to happen. On these days, you are not being punished. You are being prepared. There was a period in my life when, even after having already made a financial and personal leap, I went through a profound emptiness. Nothing flowed as before. Meetings that were promising turned into cancellations. Projects that seemed defined simply evaporated. The old insecurity tried to return. Was it luck? What if it's over? And that's when I decided not to fight the silence. I listened. I sat with myself and reorganized my energy, refined my vision, deepened my discipline. And days later, like a floodgate opening, opportunities much greater than the previous ones began to emerge. It wasn't coincidence. It was consistency. I remained, even when it would have been easier to find an excuse to stop. To persevere is not blind stubbornness. To persevere is to keep moving with presence, with awareness, with active faith. And active faith means acting even when logic says to retreat. Want a simple example? How many times have you started a habit, whether meditating, studying, training, managing your money, and on the first day it became uncomfortable, you just skipped today, and before you knew it, weeks had passed and you were back to the old pattern? It's not a lack of capability, it's a lack of continuity. Reality bends to those who remain. And yes, there will be discomfort. Expansion always tears a little of the old skin. I recommend that you observe your body when the urge to give up appears. Do your shoulders slump? Does your breath shorten? Does your chest tighten? This is not a sign to stop. It's a sign of reconfiguration. It's your nervous system adjusting to a new vibrational pattern. Take a deep breath, plant your feet firmly on the ground, and say internally, "I continue." Just that. One small decision repeated 1,000 times builds destinies that look like miracles to outsiders. But we know it's not a miracle. It's alignment plus discipline plus patience. There is a natural cycle in every achievement. Intention, action, refinement, silence, manifestation. Most people abandon during the silence because they don't understand its function. But whoever traverses this interval with purpose, whoever chooses to vibrate faith instead of anxiety, becomes inevitable. And inevitable is a powerful word. It means that nothing can prevent the arrival of what is already vibrationally yours, as long as you remain in the field where it exists. So every time you feel doubt, remember, the universe is not saying no. It is asking, can you handle being who you said you wanted to be? Continue. Walk on the day you are happy and on the day you are tired. Take one step when everything makes sense, and especially when nothing does, because at some point, what seemed distant becomes every day. What was a dream turns into a habit, and what one day required strength begins to flow naturally. It is always like this. Always. And when that moment arrives, it won't be a surprise. It will be confirmation. Because a part of you already knew from the very first step that stopping was never an option. And as you continue to absorb all of this, remember, life is always responding to your energy, even in moments when it seems silent. Keep planting intention, presence, and action, and observe how opportunities begin to move in your direction almost silently, first as a whisper, then as reality. And before we move on to the next step of this journey, do something powerful. Share this video with someone you know could benefit from these words. Sometimes a single message arrives at the exact moment and changes everything for someone. Be the channel for that to happen. Thank you for being here with me today, for dedicating your time to building your best version. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. We have much more to explore together.